to Migraine Rescue. Today I'm here with Dr. Laura Belus, naturopathic doctor. How do you say it? It's like the proper way.
Naturopathic, yes.
Naturopathic doctor. And we're going to arm you with some, I think, useful information. Because I found as a migraine sufferer, one of the most annoying things for me is when I was having a migraine and people who've never experienced before in my social circle, whether it's family or friends, would look down on me and be like, it's just a headache, get over it. So today we're actually going to talk about the difference between what is a migraine and what is a headache. So I know you have like a couple short little things, so why don't you go ahead and
I kind of run those through.
Run the gamut.
So, you're right. A lot of people understand headache to be kind of any head pain at all whatsoever. But actually, you're right. There is a complete distinction between migraines and headaches. A few areas of classification or a few kind of differing points just for some of the viewers at home to maybe figure out, are they actually misdiagnosing themselves? So location of the pain is really important. When you have a migraine, Jordan, where do you feel it?
Generally, well, it's funny. For me, what happens is my vision goes first.
Okay.
And then whatever side, like it doesn't go, but it starts to blur up. I'm sure a lot of you have had migraine auras before. If it's in my right eye that the vision starts to get distorted, my left side has a ton of pain. If it's on the left side that my vision gets distorted, the right side has a ton of pain.
So you've just distinguished a very important point, which is it's one-sided often when you're feeling the pain. The symptoms can start on perhaps your left, and then you can start to feel symptoms on the right, or vice versa. But generally, a migraine is going to be one-sided. The majority of the pain is going to be felt on one side of the head or the face, versus a headache all around. A dull sort of aching, whether it's behind the neck, whether it's on top of the head, like a band around the head. That's a traditional headache symptom.
Okay, so I guess to put it into quick little words, migraine is one-sided pain, headache is dull all around. Okay.
That's right. And you mentioned another thing as well, is this aura idea. So sensitivity to light or sound, wanting to be in a dark, silent room, that's typical classic migraine.
So people who have headaches, they might not get affected by bright lights or
not as much. No,
okay.
No, absolutely. They can still go on with work. They can take a anti-inflammatory and kind of go about their day. As you know, as a migraine sufferer, it is darkness or nothing.
Yeah. Now, one thing that I find common, and you can tell me if that's a headache symptom or a migraine symptom, is if I get a really bad migraine, I'm in the washroom throwing up almost like I have a stomach flu. Like I can't hold food down. I'm nauseous. My stomach's running in circles.
Yes.
I want nothing but water. Like there's nothing else I can do.
And again, almost exclusively with migraines, nausea, vomiting, sometimes vomiting, almost never present with a typical headache.
I guess unless it's a hangover headache.
Unless it's a hangover headache.
Yeah.
Different physiology going on there. Yeah.
And then the other thing I think, which people that I find like, is, I'm lucky that I work with someone who understands, like my boss understands what migraines are. He actually used to work with a lot of migraine sufferers before. But I find that in older jobs, if I get a really bad attack, I need a couple days off of work. Because it's like I'd get the really intense attack, and then I'd be either completely exhausted the next day, or the pain would stay for maybe 2 or 3 days. So is there a difference between the length of a migraine attack and a traditional headache?
Absolutely. So migraines, 1 to 3 days is what you're looking at. So a good migraine day would be maybe sleeping it off and the next day being able to kind of get up and go. But often 1 to 3 days, 24 to 72 hours, versus a headache, when you sleep it off, most people are okay the next day.
Okay. And then I don't know what else we could really talk about that's different. Oh, one thing. Okay, so I know when it comes to, we're going to talk about in other videos, food triggers. So with migraines, it's a really big thing that food can cause it. If you have too much coffee, too little coffee, if you have wine, if you have, different types of cheeses. Do headaches ever get caused by food? So some people might say, I had a bad meal, I have a little bit of a headache, or is that something that's rare?
It's rarer, but I'm starting to notice more headache sufferers have food triggers. However, the classic food triggers, things like aged foods like wines, cheeses, fermented vinegars, or fermented foods in general, typically will induce that migraine type presentation that you talked about. Traditional foods, wheat, dairy, other things, are less likely to cause a full-blown migraine.
Okay, so I don't know. Is there anything else you can think of?
I think we touched a lot of areas about the differences. So location, quality of the symptoms, associated additional things like nausea, vomiting, all present with a migraine traditionally and not with a headache. So that's a really good way to distinguish what you're actually experiencing at home.
And I think, as much as like we don't always want to be concerned about what other people think of us, it's good to know these different facts so you can educate people in your life around you so that they don't just think you're I have a little headache, I'm sitting in a little room. It's good to educate your loved ones so they know what you're going through, whether it's your partner, your family, your kids. I know, like, I learned about migraines when I was really young when my mom used to get them. I never had an attack at that point, but she would be in her room in pitch black darkness, and we knew to leave her alone. So I think it's good to tell people around you the difference. So
that support is so important.
Yeah. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Have a good day, guys.